So I'll get started introducing our lovely guest, Michelle. So Michelle is the owner of Triangle Social Media, which was founded in 2017. It is a female and veteran-owned business. Her and her team work with clients in Raleigh as well as across the country. Um, they help with social media strategies, platform optimization, as well as looking for trend savvy content. She has a background as a U.S. Navy veteran, as well as a nurse and educator. So her unique background and extensive background definitely has helped Triangle Social Media kind of grow into what they are today. Um, Also, Michelle, quickly for questions, any questions would you like at the end or kind of throughout? If they put them in the chat, would you like to answer them towards the end or kind of throughout the presentation?
A little bit of both.
Okay, perfect. We'll do that. Alrighty. Well, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Michelle from here.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Love Shop Local Raleigh and all the events and the people that participate. Love supporting local business. Thank you for those that are here or maybe people that'll watch later. And I love, sharing tips and ideas and encouragement because we're all struggling to grow our business. I see Sunny. Hi, Sunny. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of things that we're working on. We're juggling all the balls, wearing all the different hats. One of them happens to be social media. And so we need to, if we have a business or a nonprofit, we need to promote, we need to market that. And so we have all of these different various platforms where we can be involved and active and share content and hopefully connect with actual people who could become, collaborators, partners, customers, clients, events, and so on and so forth. And so I'm sure all of you have some sort of platform, and I'd love to know, what is your place? What is the one platform, maybe more than others, where you engage more or you have more of a presence? Do we have the chat that everybody could just put that in, and I'll open it up and just kind of peek at it as we're going along. It's good to know. I love Instagram. I do love Instagram. Facebook is the number one. It always has been for me, and it is a very strong platform. No matter where else you are, I encourage you to be on Facebook as well. And I think one note to start off is people tend to get discouraged, or, they don't see immediate results, so they kind of give up, or they, don't invest in just continuity. And so no matter where you are, stick with it and don't focus or worry as much about the numbers or the likes and follows. If you're being consistent, it's going to have organic growth over time, but you've got to invest in that. You're investing in yourself. And so no matter what your favorite platform is, I encourage you to stick with it. And honestly, videos is going to be number one. I have a list of topics to talk about, but if there's any questions, we could always segue and kind of go with the flow here, because that's what I like to do. And then if there are questions that we don't have time for, or we do, put them in the chat as well. And then we can also maybe follow up with a Q&A virtually, or, by email or something like that. I'd love to connect with all of you if I'm not already. So feel free to share your Facebook, your Instagram, your TikTok, your YouTube. I'm on all the platforms, not very active on X, although I have a presence there. I'll occasionally share something there. It's not really my place. I've been giving TikTok a lot of attention lately. Well, for me, a lot. It for a long time just kind of sat there, occasionally I'd post something, and anyway, I'm just giving it a try. So we'll see what happens. And there's nothing wrong with sharing content that you have on all the different platforms. You just may have to personalize it to that platform. So starting off there, it's good to know where your favorite places are because you don't feel like you have to be everywhere. However, the other side of the coin is why not? If you can manage notifications. If you're getting a lot of, engagement on a platform, but you're not really paying attention to it, you're going to miss out on those opportunities. So if you can handle, managing and following up with and replying, then why not be in an additional platform where maybe you're not right now? If you tend to make a lot of videos for content, which I highly recommend, why not also be on YouTube and share? You could have videos that you're putting as reels, you're also putting as shorts on YouTube. Why not go to TikTok? It's good to explore because you never know where you might find a different kind of reactions and connections, because there are somewhat different demographics, right, to each platform. There are some overlaps, of course, but you get to know, the more time you spend on a platform, you get to know the interface, the options, the features, the people, and just the personality. So that being said, I'm just going to go through my list and then feel free to raise your hand if you have a question or just really interrupt me. That's fine. So there are trending topics, which you're probably already aware, but I'll go through these. And honestly, we know that the platforms, some in particular, change a lot, updates a lot, new features released. And something to remember about new features, they're not always put out to everyone at the same time. So you may not have whatever that new feature is. Like there's a new feature on Instagram where you can actually move your posts around in the feed to personalize how the interface looks of your grid. And you just have to hold your finger down, and it's supposed to pop up with one of the features being where you can adjust and rearrange how things look. Not everybody has that yet. Be on the lookout. So the number one, and this is, you can go into ChatGPT, you could go to any AI app that you have and ask questions. The better you get at asking questions, the better feedback you get. But a benefit there is that it can pull from all of the webs, all that's online. If you have the paid version, it's up to date. As far as ChatGPT, if you have the 4.0, then it's, up till now, whereas the older version or the free version may not be up to date as far as the results you get. So raise your hand if you're on Instagram. And so definitely want to connect with you on Instagram. And I think I have that tab open. Yes, thank you for raising your hand, Roxanne. That's helpful because I can't always see everybody, but definitely want to connect. I want to follow you. So there's a lot of things within each platform that you could do to optimize, right? To find features that, oh, like I didn't know that was there. I didn't know I could do this. So that's because it's my business. I'm very frequently doing research, learning about those things, and I try to share. You probably already know that video is king as far as content. So the more videos you could do, the better. And a lot of people worry that they don't have money for equipment, or they don't feel like professional enough, or they feel like they have to have a good setting, which is fine. But honestly, what does better is candid video. Sunny the Fun Fairy does a lot of these. She walks, she moves around, she's active. So like follow her on Instagram and just look at some of her videos and get ideas, because those kind of videos actually perform better than a very polished professional sitting at a desk with great lighting, which is fine. I'm not saying don't do that at all, because it's good to mix it up. The more variety you have, the more interesting it is. And you may appeal to a different kind of person. So if you're not already doing reels, I highly recommend. And if you're on TikTok, you can use that same video from your phone, but make sure you add captions individually. and make sure you add music individually, because you may get snagged with a copyright if you've probably seen that if you tried to share music from one video, to a different platform. You may not be able to monetize it, in case that's one of the things you're doing, monetization. Everything that I'm saying, there's so many little avenues of topics that we could go off to. I'm going to try to stay focused so that we could, get through the main tips. And I'll be happy to share this list with anyone. I can email it to you all at the end, if you're interested. But do reels and pay attention to, the captions, and also your social media SEO is a thing. And you may have seen a lot of ads that Instagram reels are now showing on Google search. I've always seen when you Google a business or a person, you're going to see social media results, just like you're going to see website results. But paying attention to the keywords helps you to show up in Google, just like somebody goes to the search bar in Facebook, you're going to see the results. You're going to see whatever you're typing in, you're going to see the results in pages, groups, posts, people, all the things. So that's a backwards way to look for people who need what you have. So if, for example, I do social media management, so I could put in the search bar on any platform, need social media, looking for social media, recommended, and then, you could kind of play with the keywords, and you could find amongst, remember, you're going to see ads, you're going to see other people who do what you do, but one of the groupings in that search result is going to be people that have posted, and tons do all the time. They post on Facebook in particular, more prevalently, that they're looking for something and they want the Facebook world to give them their results, their recommendations, their referrals. So that's just one of many ways to possibly capture someone who's already, and they're giving you permission to, promote yourself to them because they're asking publicly, right? So just keep that in mind. So videos. If you need help with videos, reach out. I could give you some tips or ideas. I'm not a videographer, but I do offer kind of an extra thing for some of my clients where I'll meet with them and capture candid videos of them sharing with might be a pretty background, love nature, and flowers are nice, trees are nice, but just a variety of different backgrounds of, talking about what you do, who is your ideal client, how you can help them, and some stories of how you have helped people. Sharing stories is, the best way to convey with passion how you help and make a difference for your clients and your customers. So videos, everyone has an assignment, do a video. Everyone who's in this group here, by the way, doesn't matter if there's 6 or 600, that these people are the ones who can be very supportive, right? So we should all be following each other. So if you didn't already, make sure you share your username for your Facebook, your Instagram, or wherever you are. Just put it all there, copy and paste. And while I'm mentioning that, a tip that I like to use Google Drive, Google Docs, and I have one that I save my own little templates of things that I can easily copy and paste for stuff about myself, but also for my clients or people that I know, like, and trust in the industry, different industries. And I see somebody asking for a referral for like a team building, who does team building activities or children's parties? Well, I'm going to copy and paste my Sunny the Fun Fairy, and I'm going to put that in my reply, and I already have it ready to go. So you could think about doing that for yourself and for other people who you often, maybe you're in like a networking group where you support each other. I'm in a couple, I'm in 2. And so you could do it for those people as well. And it's another way to give more value to the people that you collaborate with and do business with. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. That on Facebook, you used to have different places to put your videos. You had, a regular post video, the reels, all videos are reels. Facebook is always morphing and changing the interface and the features. Honestly, I think they all copy TikTok. TikTok, I think, has the most amazing features. And if you ever just go there and play, I'm only really recently discovering all the interesting things you could do there. But that's what it takes. Exploring an interface, whether you love Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, spending a little bit of time looking at all the places, clicking on all the tabs, reading what's there, and knowing. And the more you know, the more confident you are in using that platform. And then that should inspire you to be more consistent, right, with sharing content. Is anybody on Threads? Raise your hand if you're on Threads. It's like an extra place. I find that the content there is interesting and it's not the same as everywhere else, but I do have Threads and you can set it up in your Instagram to automatically also share there. You never know what eyes might capture that. So I figure why not, include that, but I'm not sure yet, if it's really, really worth it. YouTube. Is anyone here on YouTube? Raise your hand. So I have been sporadic and just only recently shared a video there. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to practice what I preach. So, if you're doing videos, like why not? If you have it already, you have the video, why not add it into the different places where you might capture more attention for your brand? And I recommend that. Again, Triangle Social Media everywhere, wherever you're at, would love to follow you back and connect. So let's talk about posting, right? Now, I know that's a huge topic. Well, what do I post? What is my content about? So we could really dig into the weeds there, but I want to zoom out a little bit and remind us all that it's not just about posting. It's about engagement. It's about relationship building. And for as much as we want people to engage and like and follow, right? That's what we all want. Are we doing it for others? So you've got to invest in your local business community. And they don't have to be local, but I mean, you may already have a group of pages, people that you follow. And so even if you don't see them in the news feed, because we know that the algorithm, makes it difficult to see everyone we want to see. But guess what? You could type their name in and go there on purpose. And even if you just did a few a day or however much time you're dedicating to engagement, maybe you have a list. Maybe you keep that in the notes, in a Google Doc again, or notes on your phone. I have an iPhone. I use the notes feature there frequently, keeping track of different things I want to remember, use reminders or timers. But one of the things is you could go on purpose to a set number. You could have your list, right? And just be really purposeful about liking their content, commenting, maybe giving them a shout out, maybe recommending them, just chiming into whatever the topic is that they are sharing about. Isn't that what we really want people to do for us? So I think we should spend more time engaging. And just recently, there was a study, it was in particular about Facebook, that Meta, their messaging platforms are more active than people posting, or as far as getting reach and having real connections. And they're always watching that and monitoring what's working for people, and then they make adjustments as needed. So how could we don't want to be spammy, right? But we could ask someone, maybe there's a public post and there's a topic, maybe you see the opportunity to share more. You could ask for permission to message them if possible. It may just happen organically. I mean, as we're building relationships, that just may happen organically. And that's the best way to grow, by getting to know people, right? Online, on their social media platforms, in messaging. Hey, why not actually schedule a real one-to-one where you meet in person, whether it be Zoom, like this, or meet for coffee somewhere. Over time, my clients could become friends. And granted, we don't have to be buddies with all of our clients and customers, but isn't it nice when you do? That's just part of the picture. Networking is part of that, relationship marketing. Yes, we're marketing ourselves. Yes, we want to grow our business, but why not enjoy the relationships and, build those connections while we are doing this thing, right? Our business. So don't just post, engage, spend more time engaging than you do posting. When you do post, depending on what the platform is, you have opportunities to use stickers, captions, music, other features. And those things do help optimize your content a little bit more. So use a different one, explore. If you're not real comfortable, maybe just try one thing at a time. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, just want to make sure. So what about ideas for doing your content? So put in the comment, what is the most common message that you tend to share? If you have a product, if you have a service, if you do a lot of events. I know that might be a difficult question because you might do a lot of different kinds of content, but just put a few keywords that share what your most common content is about. And I'm just going to take a quick glance here. Yep. So, yeah, and if I'm going to come back and make sure I reply maybe in messaging to some if I miss any of these, but I'm seeing some of your comments. So events, shopping, events, inspiration, truck. Who has a truck? Dawn. I don't mind if you unmute yourself, but what is your truck? She's still here? Maybe it's a food truck, where the truck will be. So that's Dawn. I don't know if she's still here. Okay, so the reason why I asked that is in the topic of what to say, whether it's a video or you're putting commentary together with some photos, there's so many different ways to share what you do. So keep it interesting. And how? Well, you could brainstorm a list, right, of what you do, how you help, who you help. What's your backstory? How did you get here? Why are you doing what you do? What led you to this? So you could take the same, let's say, story of how you became, to do what you're doing. And it could be in a video talking. It could also be in a blog. It could also be with commentary and a slideshow of photos showing the things that you're saying that you talk about. There's a lot of different creative ways to like repurpose or take that topic and share it multiple ways to keep it interesting. And every so often share it again in a different way. You can pin your main story, which welcomes people to your platform, pin it to the top. On Instagram, you could pin 3 posts. You could pin and feature on your Facebook, whether it's your personal profile, your business page. It's kind of really think of social media as it's your website brought to social media with a lot of the same features, right? And so on your website, when I go to your website, I want to see at the top, what does this person do? What is their main message? So there could be a video pinned there at the top, or it could be, a nice cover photo with some key words on there telling me what you're about. Don't make it hard for people to know what you do. Keep it easy for them so that they connect with you, especially if they're looking for something that you do. You want to make it as easy as possible to give them that information. So you could pin that video, you could pin that post to the top of your platform. As far as ideas for messaging, one of the things is behind the scenes. That does real well, and it's interesting. So you could use B-roll which is basically, it could be videos or photos of you at work. You don't have to be looking at the camera. It could be, typing on a computer, or, pulling some weeds out of a garden, whatever the thing is that you do. And actually, it doesn't even have to be your actual business. It could just be you, right? Because people want to see a little bit of your personality and who you are as a person, not just your business. So adding a little bit of personal content into your business is always good. It gives people more of the know, like, and trust, right? So think about behind the scenes, think about making a list of ideas, and then using that list that'll inspire you as you're creating content. You might also batch create. So maybe you have a day of the week where you're not inundated with a lot of appointments and you have more time to dedicate, where you could create 10 videos or 10 pieces of content, or whatever the number is, right? And then you have it, you can schedule it on the platform or just save it to share natively. There are a lot of apps and tools out there that help you with, cross posting, and I don't use them. I know that they are helpful, and if they save you time is value. I totally get that and agree. So really just depends on where you're coming from. But it is also true that posting natively to a platform is going to do better than cross posting. Facebook has gotten better at allowing some tags to actually show, but generally, if you are cross posting, you can't, the username is going to be different because the account name is different, right? From one unless they happen to have the same exact username and it works. So it would be worthy to test it, right? And to check it out for yourself, but also look at your insights and compare what tends to do better. You'll see that videos do the best and candid videos do better overall. Behind the scenes do well. And, you could even take the same story, share it as a video, share it as a photo with keywords, and just kind of compare the differences. People have different learning styles. So some of your content may be, attracted to certain people with different personalities. And so that's just another layer of things to think about. So when you do cross post, let's say I have a video, I've done this in the past, but generally I don't do it anymore. And it's really not recommended to share a video that has Instagram logos all over it on TikTok. So they are, competitors to each other. So it's not really professional to do that. It's best to show the native. Plus if you're sharing it and it has music, does TikTok have that music? Are they going to ping you for copyright because it wasn't in their library of music? So just other things to think about. Also, when you use captions native to a platform, that's going to help in the platform SEO. Whereas if you cross-posted it, it was in the video, but not put there by that platform, that will make a difference. So just something to think about. User-generated content. So this is also a strong way to boost your brand, right? Is to have other people give you shout outs. So whether it's clients, customers, other business owners, people that have worked with you or done events with you or seen you lead in some way, something to make sure in your process, you should be asking for Google reviews and Facebook reviews and maybe LinkedIn recommendations if you're there. It should just be part of your process. And we know that sometimes people don't do it, or you have to ask them a few times. So ask them a few times. You may have a certain policy of your own where you may ask 3 times and then after that, just let it go. But certainly don't just give up asking at all. And I've seen some people and they just forget to ask or they feel a little awkward, but don't, because people that know you and they like you, they trust you, they've used you in your business, they're your clients, customers, or some of the other examples I shared, they would love to give you a review. It's just a matter, maybe they're just really busy, right? Like we all are. So don't give up, keep asking and keep it part of your process. Um, and along that whole topic of reviews, it doesn't just have to be typing out a review or even adding some photos, but what about a video recommendation of somebody telling like, wow, she was amazing. She helped me do this, this, this. And then you can share that as content, right, on your platforms, not only for your reviews, right, but you could share it as actual content. And it's the best because she'll be tagging you, so her audience will see it, your audience will see it, and it's a great way to indirect marketing. As far as just going to touch on the AI tools, mentioned that a little bit ago. Excellent tool, lot of things coming out. It's getting stronger and stronger, more and more prevalent. It's great for captions, for content ideas, for image resizing even. Just be careful that you don't, I've seen some people use it blindly and it's like, that's obviously AI, right? And it just kind of, I don't know, downgrades the image of that brand to me. So make sure you look at what the languages, look closely at if you're having them create, any kind of graphics and humanize it. Make sure it's your wording. And the more you use it, the more the AI tool will learn your messaging. So, I mean, that's the thing, and that's good. But definitely check everything to make sure that it's your messaging, it's your wording, it's your brand, and it makes sense. Let's see. I think that's all I had in my list. That was 15 things, and I will share that with everyone. But let me look at the chat, and if you guys are okay with it, I don't even know how much time I have. So Lauren, just let me know. Get the old hook out. Let's see. That's not what I wanted to do. Let me minimize this for a minute. So where is there?
We have about 30 minutes, so we're good on time. If we want to go
Okay,
ahead
great.
and put some questions that anyone has in the chat and go ahead and answer some of
Yes,
those.
definitely some questions. And if I don't know the answer, I'll find it. And then I'm also going to click on some of your platforms if you guys are all okay with that. And I can give you some feedback on those. So feel free to unmute and ask away.
I have a question, Michelle.
Yes.
Two things. Where do you see the best times of day to post? I can't recall. Somewhere in the insights to tell you
Yeah.
like Tuesday between 3 and 5. I can't remember. And then the second question is when you share from your you share to your story, does the music translate or do you need to do different music?
So that's an interesting question because I have noticed that most of the time the music does go, but I've also seen where it didn't. And I don't know why that was. So I always test it to make sure it's there. And if it's not, you can add music in the story itself with one of the stickers. I keep clicking on my messages. That's not what I want. All right, so I'll show you the insights, but let's start with Little Jewelry Company, Permanent Jewelry. And I can't see you all right now. So who was the owner?
Hi, this is me, Jackie. Sorry, I was eating lunch, but I
Oh,
couldn't
you're
put my
okay. Hi,
camera
Jackie.
on.
So she's got what I'm assuming, like in the name here. So you see that's the URL. I'm guessing that she had to add that underscore because it wasn't available. And sometimes that happens when you're choosing a business name, the one you want is taken. And so you have to make it a little bit different. That may be what happened, but then you can still put your full name of what, here in the bio section. And so she's got her bio section filled out. She's got her Linktree, and Linktree is a great tool. I have a Linktree as well. And it's a great, landing it's like a landing page really of links, and then they could find all the places. And it looks like she's using highlight bubbles, which is great. I don't see an active story right now, I don't think. That's just, no.
I don't have one right now, and I
Okay.
guess that'd be a question too, like how should we be posting one a day? Because I'm not the best at that with the stories.
Yes, I always. As a matter of fact, it doesn't have to be something you posted. It could just be the story. So in this post, like July pop-up events, right? So you know how to do the story, right? You click the
Yeah.
airplane bubble. And so of course I can't do it because I'm not admin, on your page, but you can send it to people as well. You may have a list of customers that want to do all your events, and you could kind of save that list and share it there. But yeah, I think you should always do stories and always add some kind of stickers or elements that really help it to pop more, and it does better in reach when you have that. And so here in this grid, we can see all of the things. Let me just scroll a little bit. And she's got examples. Of course, you're showing all your jewelry. Oh, and I like that you share every month your pop-ups. That's great. And then if you click on the Reels tab, you see just the Reels, and you've done quite well. Yeah. So there's all that. So have you gone live at all?
I never have.
So this tab over here is you may have tagged yourself or other people have tagged you. User generated content might be here. And so you can ask people, especially customers who buy your products, please, share about it, tell me how you love it, and tag me in that post. Same thing with anything with beauty, hair, like why not take pictures or videos and tag that person. You can also ask them to be a collaborator, and then it would show on both of your accounts. And it's like, again, borrowing each other's audiences, but it would show in the feed, in the main grid. So I know that things look different on the laptop versus the phone. And so there are going to be some features that are only available on one versus the other. But on this left panel here, you can do search. You could search for people. You could explore, look at just Reels. There's your messaging, your notifications, your dashboard. So as a matter of fact, I might be able to share my phone, but on your dashboard, so everything's going to look different, but it's going to show you insights. It looks so different here than it is on the phone. Let me see if I can share my phone. Also, I have a couple of videos I've done on insights, and it would be good to, if everyone, I don't know if you have your phone, but feel free to go to your phone and open up Instagram on your phone and tap the 3 lines on the top right. And there's a lot of things to explore and learn here about your own business. And so if you scroll down, the middle section says insights. Let me go back to. There we are. I just had my window in front of you. Okay. So go down to the bottom. Now, does anyone want to go through that on their phone together, or would you rather do that later? If you just go to insights, there's a lot of subcategories to look at. You could see your views, interactions, followers. If you scroll all the way down, you can see trending, tips, and resources. I think what I'm going to do is share the video that I've done that really digs into the weeds of insights. And I've shared that, it's already shared publicly, so I don't mind just sharing the link so that you can learn more about how to track your own insights. So it's good to know like where your clients are coming from, who's watching, what country, what city, what times, what days are busier for you. And just to keep all that as a tool to help you in creating more content, knowing who to target and when to post. Okay. So I'll share the link to the video for that. Was there another question?
I
Meta?
know a couple people have asked about the best time to post during the day or throughout the week. Like, what do you recommend on when to post?
Yes. So knowing the insights for you in particular, because, generically there may be recommendations. Oh, this is the best time. And you're going to see all kinds of opinions and research and ideas. But what about your brand? What about your network? What about your time zone? And what about your geographical area? So there's other things that come into play. And so I think the insights video will help, because then you can look at your own insights and see the time frames that are busiest for your followers. And so when I did recent research on that, for me, which I think I'm probably along the lines of average to everyone in our area, it would be later than you think, actually, like between 1 o'clock, because the time zone is not Eastern Standard Time that they are basing it on. It's and I forget the acronym for it, but it's 4 hours ahead. So whatever time you see, let's say it says 9 o'clock, everybody's busy. I think a lot of people assume, oh, I need to post by around 9 o'clock. No, it's 2 o'clock, between 1 and 2. So just think about that. The time frame that Instagram is using to give you that data is not Eastern Standard Time. I see a question, how important it is to be Meta verified. It does give you more authority, authenticity, know, like, and trust. There's so many scammers out there. And so it helps to see, oh, that's an actual person. You don't have to worry. It's not a copycat, which there's so many of those, or people get hacked. So it gives you more access to Meta help. For me personally, so my personal profile, I have the verification. Let me just minimize that. For me personally, it's to help my clients. So there have been a lot of clients that have needed my help because they got hacked, or, just different issues with their Facebook. And so having that blue check mark gives me access to help them, right? So I'm kind of the go-between, because they're not, but I always recommend, if depending on the seriousness of your issue, you might get that blue check mark even just for a few months and then cancel it. However, sometimes there's a waiting list now. So I'm not sure if it's very easy still at this point to get it. So I don't know if that really answers your question, other than it may make sense for you based on what you do and how big of an account you have. You can certainly cancel it if you don't feel like it's worth it. It's $14 and something a month. And so, yeah. All right, let's see. I'm going out of order, but I'll get to. Can you tell us more about your social club? Okay. So I do have a private Facebook group that's a social media coaching club that I share workshops, tutorials in, that is different than what I might share anywhere else. And that is a paid club. It's $40 a month. Unless you're my client, then you don't have any charge. And I can share more info if something that you're interested in. Let me scroll down here. Hi, Kat. Meta verified, incredibly worth it. Yes, I agree. For me, it's worth it for me because I can be more helpful to my clients, or to just people who have questions. And if I need to, not to say that Meta is like right on top of things as far as returning emails, it can be a struggle. It can take time, but it gives you that higher access. And they have levels of meta verification. Like there's different levels of, the more you pay, the more access you have. I don't like that at all, but that's how it is. Do you recommend boosting posts? If you are familiar with boosting and you're comfortable with it and it saves you time and you want to just get more attention, great. Give it time. The algorithm needs a little bit of time to learn who to show it to, but I think honestly, going into Ads Manager is going to be the most effective for doing ads, because you have a lot more options and features and insights and things to optimize your ad. With that being said, Facebook Meta has gotten so good at knowing who to show your ad to that you only need a few demographic things to tell it. Age, sex, location are probably the key inputs. But sometimes people put so many, career, lifestyle, income, like too many options. And that can really limit who Facebook is showing your ads to. Just something to think about. So I think Ad Manager is a better way to go if you're going to be doing ads consistently, but boosting is quicker. And if it's just another way you do it, and maybe that's how you start until you get more comfortable with it, go for it. Cutest charms. What was the charms? I don't know what the charms was. Let's see here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just looking at her Instagram and the charms that she does.
Oh, on the jewelry. Sorry, I'm a little slow. Okay. Yes. And then there's more up here. Let me just. Okay. So, and I'll come back and just make sure, did I miss any questions, but feel free to keep adding. Any other
I
questions?
know Jackie asked where to find the times on your insight page within
Yeah.
the professional dashboard on Instagram.
Yes. And so while I'm going to share the video with you, if you go to your Instagram and you click on the 3 lines and then you click on Insights, that's where you're going to find the information you're looking for. There's a lot of little subcategories to look at, and I encourage you to click on each one. From the top down, just click on it, see what's there, learn more about what yourself, your own brand, because we are all unique and have our own set of reach. I want to see if I could share my phone in here. I don't know. So let me first stop sharing, and then let me try sharing. So it doesn't give me the option.
I think
Probably
if
because it's
you
not
want
mine.
to share your phone, you're going to have to log in from your phone and then screen share from there.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
So we have, is it 10 more minutes? I can try.
Yes, 10 more minutes. I think I was muted. I do actually have a question. So for call to actions on social posts, what are some examples of call to actions? I know it's probably different for each business, but is there like a layout we should follow for call to actions, or how do you recommend going about those?
So great question, because sometimes maybe we don't even need a call to action. If we're just sharing a story, we're not trying to get anyone to do anything. Sometimes it's good to just have that mindset. However, most of the time, like, what do people do once they see your post? What do you want them to do? Do you want them to call you, email you, click on your website, see this video, join this group? There's so many different calls to action that we could choose from. And I think it's good to rotate through different ones. It doesn't have to be exactly the same each time. It's a balance and it's a variety. And on Instagram and TikTok in particular, let's say we're sharing our website. So obviously in the commentary, it's not going to be clickable, right? So we don't need the HTTP, www, just put the name, trianglesocialmedia.com. People can see it and know it. In the story, links are clickable. So when you add story, one of the stickers is link, and you could click link, and then you can add your website. You could add any place, right, for them to go. And And I encourage you to use that and at least test it for yourself. Rotate through different kinds of calls to action and see what looks like it's getting the most reach. I do think that if your brand wants to connect with people and you want people to see more information about what you do, then sharing your website makes sense, right? You could also share, maybe it's just your account, because in the news feed, they'll see who it was shared by, but when you make that as with a sticker more prominent, click to follow you. And you know how you can add other embellishing type of stickers like arrows and pointing fingers, and there's all kinds of colorful ways to do that. You can add sparkles and glitter, and it just really depends on your brand, what you normally look like, what are your colors. So like if I do any kind of text, it's always going to be pink because pink is very prominent in my brand. You may have green, like Kat. Kat, are you wearing is your shirt a uniform shirt? Or is that one of
No.
your colors?
No. TJ
Okay.
Maxx.
Okay then, but I do see your, is that, what's behind you on?
That's my company's logo.
Yes, and it has a hue of like teal, I guess. And so, yeah, I mean, use your brand colors in your text, in stickers. That's just an extra way to showcase more about, your brand, your logo, your personality, your content. So yes to calls to action. Yes, use links where you can. Simplify how it looks. Make it easier on the eye when possible. And, look back at and see, what gets more reach, with this kind of calls to action. And of course, on Facebook, even in your cover photo of your Facebook page, you have so many different options for calls to action there. Take a look at it. It's so different than it used to be. There's a ton. Any other questions? Yes, Kat.
So I have I have more non-followers and followers and friends on Facebook now, and I know it's still the number one medium around the world. I have a fairly large following of 18 to 34-year-olds. Should I dive into TikTok? You think it's a good idea? I have a
Yes.
pretty huge following on Facebook. You think I should go to TikTok?
I do. I mean, again, it kind of comes back to, are you going to have the bandwidth to manage that, at least, somewhat, to be able to check it? Because you don't want to miss out. You don't want to leave people hanging, but it also, you don't want it to just like overpower your day and take over your time. And, your time is valuable. So you have to be careful. Just like with networking, I see some people network so much, and I wonder, how do they have time for their business? I do a lot of networking too. It's kind of built into what I do, but I still am careful, and I don't do everything. There's so many more things. So just discern if that is right for you. A place to be on social media, a networking group, event to attend, and maybe it's not this time, maybe it's later, No doesn't mean no forever. Just, I think, protect your time. That's valuable. And then do what feels right, test it out. And so at the same time, like I keep, there's always different perspectives, right? Be careful, guard your time. Time is value, but why not test it? You never know what could happen, who you might meet, what connection, like you could get a customer or, make a best friend. There's just so many different reasons. So let's see here. Create the video on TikTok, save it before posting. Yes, I agree with that. Then you can post it on Instagram or vice versa. And you could use Snapchat too. I like, some of the filters there are fun. As far as filters, like I only use if I use a filter, which I don't even always use a filter. If I do, it's natural. Sometimes people look so weird. And the filters they're using make them look fake. I don't like that myself, but to each his own. You got to do what works for you. but I sometimes use Snapchat to record, and then my TV thinks I'm talking to it. And then you can download it to your phone and share it natively. Native is always best if you can, if you have the time to do that. It's really going to have a better effect. I would love to know Kat's social media handles, somebody said. Can you talk a bit about polls? One of the stickers, there's in both TikTok and Instagram, you could do polls, questions, so many different things. It's a way to get engagement. It's a way for people to engage with your content, and you just want it to be an authentic question. Let's see. I love polls and asking people to help me make a decision. Yeah, that's a great idea. 25 to 5K reach per post. That's amazing. Awesome job. And so the number, the reach that you get, the number of likes, follows, comments. So I'm not an influencer. There are people who do that and like that's their job. They made it into a money-making thing, and that's awesome. I guess I consider myself a micro influencer, so with that being said, I don't have a ton of followers or even engagement. And of course I would like more, and I'm pursuing that, but for your joy and your mental health, you need to not get so caught up in it. And just be consistent, be authentic, and just really let people see your passion of, what you sell or what you do and why and how and all those other things. And then a little bit of, a day in the life of backstory, or other kinds of stories. And you need to enjoy what you do and then just share snippets of that thing that you enjoy on social media. I do get paid by Meta as well. It's just a little bit, but it's kind of fun to see, okay, it's making a little bit of a difference there, and they're recognizing it and giving me a few dollars here and there. So let's see. I'm the opposite way, more active on Instagram. Yep. Yeah, some of us, we have the favorite place. That's awesome. Sometimes people haven't found that yet, or they're just spread out everywhere. And but if you connect with and find an audience that's very engaging and collaborative, then foster that by all means. Yeah.
Alrighty, are there any last questions before we end our Zoom today? All right, well, if not, just a reminder, we are having our 4th Friday, July 25th at Oak City Dental, or City of Oaks Dental. So hopefully we'll be able to see y'all out there, but we just want to thank you, Michelle, so much for being able to come out here and speak to us today and be able to share your wisdom and knowledge on social media and all the applications for us for small business. Your insight has been really great and impactful. So
thank you so much for
All right.
having me. It was my pleasure. And let's make sure we all connect. I want to continue to watch and be of any help that I can be to you guys.